I, 29 female, slept with my gay best friend, 30 male. My best friend since college and I have a very close, very tight bond, and I love him very deeply. We're very comfortable and open around each other. He identifies as a gay man, always has. Not bisexual or anything else. He's someone who has a very strong masculine energy, and often throughout the years, I guess that he's confused the primal part of my brain. I've only recently been able to actually admit to myself that sometimes I can't help but to feel emotionally and physically attracted to him because it jumps out strongly every now and then. So I've been trying to work through it. Well, apparently I'm not the only one confused. The other day we were sitting on my couch and I could feel him looking at me. I said, "What?" And an understanding passed between us without having to say anything. He just said, "Nothing." And I dropped it. The next day we were over the top flirting in the kind of way that we do sometimes, usually as a joke, and especially when other people are around. I don't exactly know how we went from 1 to 100, but we ended up having the roughest, most intense, amazing sex I could have ever thought of having in my life. And we haven't really spoken of it since, and it's been 3 days. I haven't known what to say. He hasn't known what to say. How messy is this? I mean, how do I navigate this? Why hasn't he said anything? I would consider him 100% the pursuer of this situation. Did this just happen because we're emotionally close? What does it mean? How do I talk to him about it without making it weird? Do I bring it up first or do I let him? Am I in the wrong for not attending my fiance's dad's funeral because I was uncomfortable with wearing a hijab? I, 27 female, have been with my fiance, 29 male, for almost 5 years now. He's South Asian Muslim and was born in America, while I'm white and Christian. He's not very religious, but I'm fairly devout in my own faith. His family is also fairly religious, and his mother and sister both wear hijabs. We live on the West Coast, but both of our families are on the East Coast. But my family lives in the South, and his family lives in the North, so they're far away from each other. The two of us flew out to visit my family for Christmas and New Year's. We flew in on the 22nd, and the plan was to stay until the 2nd, when we'd be flying back home. His dad has been fairly sick for a while, and just a day after we arrived at my parents', he passed away. This was unexpected, since he'd been doing better recently. Obviously, my fiance was devastated and instantly booked his flight so that we could attend his funeral together. We would have flown out on the 24th, so the flights were fairly expensive, booked last minute as well. Of course, I was sad to miss Christmas with my family, and my parents were very disappointed, but I was happy to go support him. However, a few hours before we were going to fly out, he informs me that I'll have to wear a hijab to enter the mosque for the service, and would not be allowed to go to the graveyard either. I didn't feel comfortable with doing this, so I told him that I would rather not go. I figured if I couldn't attend the service, I might as well just stay with my parents so that we could still do Christmas together, and he would come back to join us. This was a very hard decision for me to make, but my parents helped me a lot in making it. My fiance seemed okay with the decision and left without me. Although before he left, he asked if I couldn't just come and not attend the service. He attended the service, but he hasn't come back. And he told me on the 29th he'd be doing New Year's there and hasn't messaged me since. His sister, who I've always been close with, texted me and told me how disappointed she was in me and that what I did was wrong. I don't think I did anything wrong since I couldn't attend the service anyway. She also said that I should have at least paid him back for the flight that he got for me, but it was almost $1,000 and I simply can't afford that. My fiance makes almost 5 times as much as I do, and his family is very wealthy, so I know the money is not the issue. My parents agreed with me and said that it was important to spend Christmas with them, especially since it is the first after being engaged. They also think it was wrong of him to completely abandon me and our plans for New Year's. My sister said that I should have gone anyway to support him, so am I in the wrong?
Am I wrong for refusing to pay for dental fees after a kid broke his teeth on a macadamia nut at my house? My friend 39 female June brought her 8-year-old son Steven over to my house today. June and I were just chatting over a cup of tea when there was a huge scream from the kitchen, and we rushed to find that Steven had tried to eat a whole macadamia nut with the shell. For some context, the nut is a white nut surrounded by the hardest and most smooth chocolate-looking shell you've ever seen. So he'd obviously thought it was chocolate and tried to eat it from a closed Tupperware container on the kitchen island. They were there because I had the intention of cracking them later with a hammer. My friend first got on Steven for eating something obviously not meant for him and took him to the emergency dental. That's where she learned that he had cracked one of his molars and it was apparently quite bad. Apparently, as it's still his first set of teeth, they'll just be pulling it out, but she wants me to pay half. Her reasoning is that it was my macadamia and it was on the kitchen island and very accessible. There is just no way. I would never let this person back over to my house. Now, mind you, I do feel like child-proofing the house a little bit because you do care about your friend, you care about their kid, obviously, is nice and considerate. Like, make sure that there's no, scissors out, make sure there's no knives on the table, of course, like common sense things. But I do feel like no one's thinking about macadamia nuts, especially not somebody that doesn't have a child. From the story, I don't think they do. I wouldn't think that. And everybody's eating the mom up on Reddit about not even watching her kid. I feel like things do happen, mistakes do happen, but trying to put it on your friend is actually insane to me. Like, baby, if you need help with a bill, you weren't expecting to pay that big bill, you don't have the money, you need me to loan you some money, that's a little different. Like, go ahead and let me know that. And I mean, I'll always help you if I can. But trying to put it on me because I did something wrong is insane. I would be more embarrassed that I wasn't watching my kid to my friend.
Am I the arsehole for ditching the girls' holiday on the way to the airport? Story time. Yes, I am a little bit ill, please bear with me. So, I was supposed to go on a girls' holiday with my longtime friend. We'd been friends for like 10 years. And we will call my best friend Amy. So it was going to be me and Amy and then this other girl, who we will call Lucy. And listen, I was really excited to meet Lucy. Heard great things from my best friend. It was going to be great. So Amy and Lucy actually only live about 3 hours away from where we were going to go on holiday. So they said that they were going to drive. And they asked me if I would go with them. So I would go to their house and then they would drive to the holiday destination. This literally made no sense to me because I could fly there quicker than I could drive to where they live. So the day before we are going to get there, Amy sends me a link to this museum and she tells me that I need to book the tickets. She's like, me and Lucy have already booked our tickets, so you just need to book yours now. And they had booked their tickets for like, I think it was like 11:30. However, when I went on the website, they only had 8:30 in the morning available. So I was just like, whatever, I'll just do something else, you guys can go, because I wasn't too arsed about going to that museum anyway. Amy had done the majority of the booking for this trip. She'd done all of the accommodation, etc. So I texted her and I was like, how much do I owe you for all of this? And this was the second time I'd asked her since she booked. To be fair, I didn't really have much of a role in doing much of the booking. They did most of it, so I just assumed that I would send them my part when the time came, when they asked for it, and they never did. So the morning of my flight comes, I'm sat at the airport and I get a text from Amy. So they actually had ended up inviting a guy with them and that he would be staying in the hotel that was meant for me. She sent me a link to the hotel and I went to have a little look and turns out that there were no rooms left at this hotel. Isn't that just great? So at this point I started to panic and I started to check all of the hotels in the area, see if they had any availability. And just for reference, the original hotel was going to be about £250. The cheapest available option was £475. But I really wanted to go. I'd not seen my friends in a really long time, so I bit the bullet and booked an expensive hotel. On the way there, I just had this like gut feeling that I wasn't going to enjoy myself. So I booked myself an Uber and I went home. So I texted Amy and I was like, listen girl, I'm really, really sorry, but I'm going to sit this one out. I made it very clear that I was expecting a girls' trip and now this guy Steve is coming along. And now Amy is being incredibly short with me and she is convinced that I am being unreasonable.
Am I wrong for not wanting my sister at my wedding since she is in a wheelchair and will take up all the spotlight? My sister, 26, has been in and out of the hospital and I'm gonna call her Anna. Anna got cancer when she was 15 and was able to beat it. But ever since she's been having growths and anytime one appears, we're so worried about the cancer coming back. My issue is that she always makes these announcements that she needs to go to the doctors again at the worst possible times. At the beginning, I thought it was just bad timing, but it's happened so many times when I hit a milestone. My graduations, my birthdays, my engagement party, and anytime she makes an announcement she needs to go back to the hospital, my whole family flocks to her. I have had my birthday dinner turn into my relatives flocking to her for the whole night. So I had a dinner party to announce my wedding date for my relatives, and it was going so great and so fun until Anna told my mom she has to go to the hospital. Soon, everybody forgot about the reason for the dinner party and it was quiet. My aunt even stepped in to do a prayer for Anna. So again, another event was taken over. As a result, I went low contact. But she was invited to the wedding. That's in 2 weeks. I learned today that she's been on and off a wheelchair, so she will need to take it just in case for the wedding. After asking if our family was aware and them telling me no because they didn't want them to worry, I let them know they need to inform them. But again, they said no, they don't want them to worry and would not do that. I had enough and told them you need to tell them before my wedding, but again, a no. I then informed them that Anna is not invited. This triggered a whole argument about how I'm wrong, but my point is I'm sick of her stealing the spotlight. And that would definitely happen if she rolls in with a wheelchair. Edited to add that I'm going to do a mass blast to all my relatives saying she's in a wheelchair and unsure if she'll be able to make it to my wedding. And to keep my sister in their thoughts and prayers because I do want to stay ahead of this. Am I wrong?
There's been a recent update on the girl in the freezer's mysterious death. On September 8, 2017, a young 19-year-old girl named Kanika Jenkins told her mother that she was going bowling and to the movies with some friends to celebrate her new job at a nursing home. She borrowed her mother's car and left the house around 11 p.m. This would be the last time Teresa Martin would see her daughter alive. It turns out that Jenkins went to a hotel party on the 9th floor of the Crown Plaza Chicago O'Hare Hotel in Rosemont, Illinois. Security footage showed the group entering from the side entrance around 1 a.m. During the party, Jenkins' friends are sharing videos on Snapchat and some of them are even live on Facebook. But it was clear that the girls were not happy. Males were aggressively flirting with the girls even after being told to back off. Around 1:30 a.m., Jenkins sends a text to her sister. This was the last time any of her family members would ever hear from her again. Around 3 a.m., the girls decided to leave the party. In the hotel lobby, Jenkins realized that she left her belongings like her keys and cell phone back in the room. Some sources claim that her friends left her alone in the hotel lobby, while others say that they left her in the hallway on the 9th floor by the elevator. Either way, all of her friends supposedly went to grab her belongings from the party, leaving her all alone for about 10 to 20 minutes. When the group returned, Jenkins had vanished. They searched the hotel trying to find her but had no luck. Between 4 to 4:30 in the morning, they decided to finally call her mother, who quickly made her way to the hotel. She pleaded for help from the hotel's front desk, but they refused. She then requested to see security footage or for security to help her find her daughter, but they told her that only police could look at the tapes. At 7:15 in the morning, Martin called 911 about her missing daughter. The dispatcher told her that her friends could be lying and Jenkins was probably passed out drunk in a random hotel room. He told Martin to go home and relax and wait a few more hours for her to show up. The next day though, Jenkins was officially reported missing and police began their investigation around 1:15 p.m. on September 9th. Hotel staff claimed that they looked at the security footage and didn't see anything. Police searched the hotel and surrounding areas, but again, nothing. Around 10 p.m., an officer decided to look back through the tapes just in case he missed something and discovered a clip of Jenkins stumbling around the hallways of the hotel lobby around 3:20 in the morning. She appeared to be extremely intoxicated, confused, and stumbling into walls. This is when they quickly launched a team to trace her last steps.